I'm listening now. Hold on. Yeah, we're live now. We're no longer muted.
Okay, apparently, so my TV is another audio source.
Okay. Yeah, well,
It's
no worries. Hey,
yeah,
Avi, thank you so much for letting us know. We encountered this issue in the past. It's yeah, awesome. Thank you so much. Yeah, I really appreciate it because it would have been so annoying if it went through the entire stream being muted. Um, cool. Yeah, well, maybe we could take a step back, Lewis, and we can kind of start from scratch if
yeah,
that works.
yeah. We should, huh?
All right, cool. Well, starting from the top. So, welcome to the stream. We're really excited because this stream will be a special one. We're going to be talking about how to get started contributing to Plasmo from the ground up. What does it take? What do you need to do? And so on and so forth. The reason we want to do this is because one thing that we're noticing is that we're really not taking full advantage of the beauty of open source, right? Lewis and I are huge proponents of open source software. We studied it in college. We worked on a lot of open source projects in the past. And one of the things that we're noticing is it's quite difficult to get started to contribute to Plasmo. There are people that have made wonderful contributions, either through translations or by adding fixes or little feature here and there, along with certain examples. But what we're finding is that when we talk to people, they say that it's quite difficult to get started because it's a mono repo. A lot of people don't really know how it all works. What is the convention for actually submitting a change? What is the convention to kind of get started? So we're going to talk about that. And then the next thing we're going to talk about this demo session is we're going to demo all the fun tools outside of the Plasma framework that we have built that haven't gotten a lot of spotlight from us. And we thought that, these tools are really cool and they should get the recognition that they deserve. So we're going to be showing you that. And it should be a fun stream full of fun stuff. So with that said, Louis, you want to take it away, round two? And
Yep.
hopefully this time we're not muted.
Yeah. I think confirmed that it's not muted anymore. All right. So if so, right now let's so one of the most recent contributor was Even Frost, and he sent a PR to fix the typing for the post CSS typing, right, for TypeScript, because Plasma heavily relying on TypeScript for type checking, and he saw the error on his VS Code editor, presumably, and so that's why by adding this will actually influence VS Code to accept this module.pcss as a valid extension, right, for module importing. Now, when Even Frost contribute his PR, it's very likely that he used GitHub itself. So this is one method, the easiest method to contribute to the GitHub repo or to Plasmo framework is to use GitHub itself and the code editor built in. And it is likely what Even Frost did. And what he did was he simply go to the file that he want to edit. In this case, let's say I'm gonna pick a random file. Let's say he want to edit the prettier rcjs file. He would basically let me just zoom out a little bit here. Yeah. Okay. So there's the edit button. You click the edit button, and you'll be able to edit the file, right? Like it's a text editor here, so you can do whatever you want here, as usual. And then GitHub would have like it for me. I can come because I am the owner of the repo. I can I can click commit changes and I can point it to main. But I would generally I don't do that unless it's like a very minor documentation changes. Um, but for most people who are not member of the organization, uh, when you click commit changes, GitHub would ask you if you where you want to merge this commit, and you will likely be asked to create a new branches, and it will give you a default name branch, and all you have all you have to do is just sign off and propose the changes, and it will do all that for you. And so GitHub would take your changes together with, like the default message here that it gave you, and make it into a PR for us. And that's the easiest way for someone to start contributing. Now, right, the fallback of this method is that you cannot really test it if you try to improve a very huge aspect of the framework, right? For example, you want to test out the parcel packager, for example. You want to test out the packager, you want to test out the resolver, or you also just want to test out the CLI, right? You add something to the dev server, and you would like to test it out, right? Oh, okay. So AV12 just asked if you want to use VS Code online, the pressing dot. Yeah, I think that's a rough one. I'm not sure. Maybe VS Code Online has an extension maybe that you can integrating with Git, but still you would so I think when you use VS Code Online, the workflow is slightly similar to if you working like locally, right? But with
Louis, do you wanna test it out now? Like if you press dot, what happens?
Okay, so I pressed dot just now. We go to GitHub dev. Yeah, I think the previous trick was just rename, right? Change.com to .dev. Yeah.
I'm curious because I never use this thing, but I know other people do.
Yeah, I think it's likely the workflow for the VS Code online editor would be that so you have a terminal, but this terminal this is a virtual terminal, right? It actually doesn't link to anything. So you likely need a plugin, I think. You likely will need a plugin. Yeah. It's my hunch is you would likely need a plugin. And I guess there's a GitHub thingy here. So perhaps the GitHub plugin that VS Code Online have might help with that. But then you would likely have to check out a new branch, right? You would have to do git checkout, like a totally like your own branches, and submit the branch to the to peer review. Yeah. Okay, sure, yeah.
Interesting.
I wonder if they're using IndexedDB for this. It's likely either IndexedDB or they're storing this isolation.
Yeah.
Uh,
So if I have like a minor change, I guess I can use GitHub's feature where it will submit a PR, like it'll create a branch, it'll submit a PR if I want to, I don't know, maybe there's a typo, maybe I want to add one line. But what happens when I want to make that big substantial change? What do I do then?
Yeah. Like, I think that in that case, you will likely have to. So first, we have a. Yeah, none of this plugin I have work here. So let's say goodbye to this. Yeah, I think the feature that's available here is likely not enough to make a PR from here. I guess you can make a branch. You can try making a branches, but you likely will need to fork it first. Yeah, I think to do the dot development, you likely have to fork it, and then do a dot there on your remote. Then you'll be able to use the GitHub plugin on this page to make a PR, and then to make a branch, to make a branches, and submit it to the Plasmo framework repo, the main repo. Yeah, but otherwise, I think the VS Code Online, it seemed to me because you cannot reopen a terminal, and we don't have a code space set up, right? So this is VS Code Online. It's not code space with code space. Yeah, precisely, right? Yeah, like if you want, like precisely, like if you just want to like review the code and play around with it in the VS Code Online, then I think it's a good tool for that. I think it's meant for that actually, right? To read the code is a better place to read code. But I don't like to make a commit and so on. Might be a bit tough. You will have to fork it and make a PR from there, right? Make a commit and push it and make a PR. But so let's move on to the official way, or like if you have a substantial changes that you want to test out, how will you do that? So the guideline for that is put in the contribution guideline in .github. There's a file. Oh, actually here, right? Nah, there's on the code of conduct. I wish they added here. So we have the contributing.md doc here that has like a guide on how to contribute. So yeah, generally we recommend people to fork it. When you fork the repo, you would have the project plasmo.git inside of your kind of your username or your organization. So once you do that, you would have to do git clone. So the idea here is that the idea of this kind of contributing guideline, the brief is that we want to build Plasmo locally in our machine together with whatever changes you have done to Plasmo and test it out. That's a key idea. And so to test out the changes, okay, so technically you actually don't need to fork it, but if you want to make a PR, it's recommend to fork it.
So no, you need to you must fork it, unless you're a member of Plasmo.
Yeah, you must fork it to actually. Well, I mean, technically, right? They can clone from the main repo, and then work on it, and then they can set up their own fork later on, right?
Oh, like you're talking about the order. Yeah, eventually they'll have to fork it.
Yeah, eventually you have to fork it. So we would recommend just forking it first. Oh, okay, so when you clone the Plasmo repo, is very. You need to be careful that because Plasmo is a mono repo, but it's also a mono repo that using submodule. So Git submodule require you to also clone the submodule for it to work. And so you need to supply the recurse submodule flag when you clone it. And so with the recurse submodule flag, it will clone every single submodule inside the Git inside Plasmo mono repo. So now once you have cloned it, you should have a Plasmo directory inside your project, just like here. Over here, I have my if you look at here, my PWD. What? I don't have PWD. Yeah, I do. All right. So here I have Plasmo Corp Plasmo. So Plasmo is what I have cloned my local version of Plasmo framework. And so so when you have Plasmo now, let's go down here to developing with your local version of Plasmo. So this is the section that I would like to highlight, the most relevant section here. So actually, sorry,
Louis, sorry to interrupt you. Do you wanna? How about we actually like go through the steps?
Okay.
I think that would be very helpful to people.
Okay. So let's go through. You want me to go through all the steps that we have here, from top to bottom?
Yes.
All right.
Let's go from top to bottom. I think that would be very helpful to people.
All right. So the contributing guy here mainly talk about forking the repo and then make a branch, right? Okay, you can make a new branches. So, or you can make a new, I think this sentence here needs to be fixed here, right? So you can either work on the main branch of your fork, right? Or you should make a branch with the name following a certain convention. So for us, actually no, sorry. Yeah, internally we use FEAT dash the feature name, so that it convert into the title of the PR. But yeah, here we are ensuring that when you make a PR, please name it with the convention of if it's an FEAT, a feature, then do FEAT a front. If it's a fix, a bug, or a dog, then put that tag up front. This is actually a convention coming from Angular. Actually, this is actually called an Angular commit conventions, back in the Angular JS days. Yeah, and well, it started Google. I guess Google started it, and it stick to this day, I guess. Yeah. So these two are just a preparation to make a PR, or for people who want to make a PR. Now, when it comes to adding example, so when someone wants to add an example, right? We want it to be as easy as possible. So we have added the --exp flag to the init command. Init command is actually the init is actually the internal command for Plasmo, but this is actually pm create Plasmo. Actually, init actually create is it point to init basically. pm create Plasmo point to Plasmo init. So, but anyway, this command pm dlx Plasmo init -exp, it should create an example project with with all the unnecessary boilerplate strip out. The name of the example should have the with prefix, so that's a requirement because we actually use the with prefix when we integrating the example with the command line, with the initialization command line. Yeah, actually this step, the last step is gone. The last step we actually, we can remove this. So let's edit this. Let's edit it. Oh shit! I think Stefan is got disconnected. Alright. Anyway, I think Stefan is still so while he reconnecting, I will fix this up. I need to remove this. Yeah. We can do this. pm create Plasmo, not just ESP. Alright. Yeah, I think that should be good. Hey, welcome back.
Thanks. Yeah, I accidentally closed all my tabs,
Right.
and I realized that our recording is on a tab. Sorry about that. What did I miss?
Well, all I did was I just edited the adding example section to make it shorter. So now we use pm create Plasmo with the exp flag, much shorter for the command line, and also the name of the example. You need to start with a with prefix, and that's pretty much it. You don't have to manually changing, like the workspace and whatnot. The exp flag will do all that for you. Yeah. So for additional note, just add a note section in the readme, and you should be good to go. Yeah. Make sure that the PR for the example point to the example project. So the example project is a separate repository, and it's being linked to the main Plasmo repo as a submodule. Yeah.
Yeah, we wanted to have a place where people can just look at all the different examples in one place. So we chose to make it a separate GitHub repository. Yeah. So yeah, whenever you're making changes, send a pull request here. Don't do it in the Plasmo mono repo.
Yeah. And if you make
examples.
And if you make an issued example, please find the issue in the main Plasmo repo.
Yep.
Yeah. Which is, I feel like might be a bit confusing, huh? But I don't know. So the reason why we're doing this so that we can centralizing all the issue.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So, okay, now that we're done with these two sections, let's go to developing. So for developing, So this section talk about cloning. So yeah, we're cloning the repo, and maybe I should remove this. Maybe let's because it's kind of confusing, right? Because we would tell people to fork it and clone with that already, you know. So maybe we don't need that section anymore. What do you think? This part.
Yeah. What is the difference between the two?
Well, this one used Plasmo HQ. The other one used Plasmo. Used the org.
Yeah, I think that the first one is more accurate.
Yeah. Let's remove this one.
So just to give some context to folks, when you fork a repository and then you clone that fork, it'll set your remotes properly. So when you push, it'll push to your fork rather than to Plasmo. Like if you push to Plasmo, it won't be allowed. Only Lewis and I can do that because we're a part of the org. So if you fork first and then you clone, all your remotes will get set up. I mean, you can technically clone our repo and then remove the remote origin and then maybe change it to upstream and then have a new origin of your fork. But that's all like a little bit complicated. There's no need to do that.
Yeah, the order, right? The forking first will make your life much easier. You will not have to fiddle in with the origin with the git command, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So, okay, because Plasmo repo use pnpm internally, so it's required to use pnpm here. If you use Plasmo outside, you don't have to worry about that. But pnpm is a requirement when working with Plasmo. So you have to install pnpm, and then you have to install all the dependencies with pnpmi. You want to do this in the topmost directory. So right now, I am in Plasmo corp/Plasmo. So I'm in the root of Plasmo. So I will do pnpmi here. That's what I do. And it will go through 63 workspace project, right? It will install the dependency for every single thing, including the example project as well. And it did it pretty fast, right? Like 10 seconds, which is pretty fast. And if you use npm here, it's probably much slower. Well, hopefully faster now, but pnpm is pretty fast because it uses a global cache. It uses a global cache and a symlink structure, so it doesn't have to do a lot of pooling. I hope the cache invalidation mechanism they have is good, and it seems to be pretty good. You know, it doesn't seem to like it doesn't seem to perform very bad here.
Yeah.
Especially for 63 workspace project. I used to have a project with like 30 workspace project using Yarn. It took about 2 minutes or 3 minutes to do Yarn install. Yeah, don't want to repeat that. It make adding dependency a pain in the ass. So thanks a lot for pnpm.
Thanks.
And then after that, you would do pnpm dev CLI. So when you do pnpm dev CLI, the dev CLI command actually uses turbo repo. So turbo repo is, think of it as like a monorepo script runner and script orchestration. That's one of the main capabilities that it has. It does other things too, but that's the main thing that it does. It's orchestrating dependencies for the script inside your monorepo. So that, for example, if the CLI depend on the other packages, right? So the CLI, our CLI depends on, for example, right? It depends on the packager, the parcel packager, the parcel transformer, the namer, and the namer manifest, right? So the Plasmo CLI depend on all of these tools, and that's why with the dev CLI too, it uses turbo repo to crawl through the dependencies and run the build script of the previous dependencies, of the child dependencies. before it run the dev server for the Plasmo command line. And so now here I have the Plasmo command line running now. So now I can now go inside the Plasmo repo and work on it. So let me just do this. Let me open it up. Okay, so now that you have the Plasmo CLI dev server running, right? So how do you use this version locally? Right?
And
So
what does it mean by version?
okay, so when you build a Node.js command line program, right? So Plasmo CLI is a Node.js program, right? And
What is Plasmo CLI?
so Plasmo CLI is the application that run the dev server, and also the build tooling. It run the bundler, the build tool, and a bunch of goodies for the Plasmo framework.
So is this something that runs on like people's computers when they're using Plasmo framework?
Precisely, yeah. So the Plasmo CLI.
And here we're building our own version from scratch.
Precisely, right. So what happened is we just pull the Plasmo repo, and we install all the dependencies, and then we run the dev server of the CLI, right, which in turn build the development version of the CLI. Yeah.
Got it. And when people install Plasmo, like when they're using the framework,
Yep.
they're using the version that's on npm that's already been built, right?
Precisely.
And then this is the local version that is in development. So when you change code, it will update the local version of your CLI.
Precisely, yeah. So when people installing the npm version on the npm registry, they would be consuming the production bundle of the Plasmo CLI. Yeah. And so the cool thing about Node.js application is that because Node.js has this concept of sim linking script, any CLI script that you make with Node.js can be sim linked into your system so that you can run it as a command line program, top layer command line program. By top layer, I mean, for example, right, on this terminal, I can do Notepad, and it will open Notepad for me. It will open up Notepad. Right, so Notepad is a top layer program, right? So I cannot really do that with, for example, like if I have I don't know, like maybe Y, it will tell you, right? Y is not recognized as name commandlet function script file, right? The reason why.
Yeah, it's not in your path.
Precisely. Well, most people don't. So what does it mean by in your path, right? So operating system. So each of these program, right? For example, Notepad. So Notepad, Chromium, whatever program that you can invoking from your terminal, right? This program has to be specified somewhere for the operating system to find, to invocate, right? To invoke, to run. And the way that most operating systems do that is to have a specified path. A path is basically an environment variable that lists every single places that the operating system should look for this binary. And that's pretty much it. So your Chrome, if you have Chrome, the Chrome binary, the location of the Chrome binary would be listed in this thing called the path variable in your environment variable, so that Windows or Linux or Mac OS X can find them and run them for you. And one of the interesting things that Node.js kind of somewhat pioneer, I would say. I think they were the earliest. I think Ruby did that too, but it wasn't as intuitive. Or I'm not sure if it was that intuitive compared to Node.js, but I've seen the pattern much more pronounced in Node.js community. Is that when you build a script with Node.js, you can tell Node.js to say, hey, this file can be treated as a binary. So in Plasmo, so here's a Plasmo CLI project, right? The Plasmo CLI project. If you take a look at the package.json of the Plasmo CLI project, so Plasmo CLI Plasmo. Let's take a look at the package.json. So what the hell is this? Oh my lord. I think that the VS Code online thing trying to synchronizing something in here to my local one. That's annoying. Okay, whatever. So in here, I have specified that there's a binary file. There's a bin. The bin points to an index.mjs file, right? And this basically this file is telling my sorry, not this file. This file actually bin.index.mjs. This file would be treated as a script by the operating system to run whatever is specified. And so because of this bin line, when you do npm install Plasmo, this bin line tell npm or pnpm or any of the package manager in the Node.js system to symlinking this bin file, this bin entry file to your path, so you can invoke it. So you can run it. You can run it, or you can run it as Plasmo dev or Plasmo build, right, inside of your package.json. Now, so the cool thing is that because of that, when we went with Plasmo, what we have done is now the question is, we can do that.
Can I interrupt you for a second, Louis?
Yeah, go for it.
What does that look like? Can you show some sort of example of a package JSON using this?
Of other package JSON?
Yeah, like an example or another extension built with the Plasmo framework that utilizes Plasmo dev and Plasmo build.
Yeah. So let's go to example and go to I have something right here. So let's go to package JSON, right? So in this in the with content script UI example, right, we have Plasmo install as the dep. Okay, this is weird. It should be dependency. I think I just this is like this because this is so old, like 5 months ago. Yeah. So this is all example, but Plasmo. So
here we have like scripts, right?
Yeah, in script.
And then Plasmo dev and Plasmo build.
Precisely. So Plasmo here is being invoked. Yeah, go ahead.
So, if you go back to the previous package JSON, we have this thing called a bin, and we give it a file. So now, when another package JSON wants to run that package as a binary via command line, when they do Plasmo, it'll actually point to bin/index.mjs.
Yep.
And then any command line arguments like dev or build will get sent over as though it was a normal command line kind of interface.
Precisely.
Got it? Okay.
Now, the tricky thing here is that the way to run the script, right, is you have to use a pnpm, right, the package manager, right, to invoke them, right. So we would do pnpm dev and pnpm build, right? But the package manager will actually respect the version specified inside the package JSON actually. So if your Plasmo version here is a version that is older, right, it will run that older version. It will not run the version that you just built that we are building right now that you have
So
locally?
to take a step back here,
Yeah.
We have two different package JSONs. So when you clone the GitHub repo that is the Plasmo framework, and you do pnpm you do pnpm dev :CLI, that is running and building the Plasmo framework.
Precisely.
And now we want to test the Plasmo framework. To
Yep.
test it, usually you would either test it on an example, or maybe you would create your own sort of little like extension somewhere on your computer. And that's what you're talking about, where the version reference in that example or in that extension that you're building to test, maybe you've made some changes in the Plasmo framework locally, and now you have a new extension and you want to see whether the Plasmo framework is working fine and is actually doing what you want on that extension. You need to actually test that. But how do you point your extension, your local extension, to your local instance of Plasmo CLI? That's kind of the thing that is tricky, right?
Yep. Precisely. Well, it's not tricky, right? We just have to go through it, right?
As long as you know how to do it, it's not tricky.
Yep.
But with most things, yeah.
I think so. Let's see. All right. Okay. So now, oh yeah, I have the Plasmo version 0.59.0 alpha 1, right? Let me bump it up to alpha 2. Okay. And let me run it. Let me run the. So when you run pnpm dev :CLI, make sure you run it in the root directory of the monorepo, of the Plasma monorepo. Make sure you run it in the root. Otherwise, if you run it inside the sub module, it's likely not work, because we do not configure the script. The script is being defined in the package JSON of the root package JSON. Yeah. With the dev CLI here, basically run the turbo run dev that for the Plasmo CLI project. All right. So let's try that out. So I just save the file. Let me run it. Let me run the pnpm dev CLI. Should take a little bit. I mean, it should not take too long. And we should have our new CLI up and running.
So Avi says that submodules make my head spin, and I completely agree with you.
Yeah, the Git. One of the problem with Git submodule is that the Git command line for those is really bad. Yeah, we have some internal tool. We have some internal command line that we built for our other private project, just so that we can managing some of these submodule thingy. Like we do a lot of this. We do a lot of like synchronizing. Like submodule synchronizing is a pain in the ass if you use the normal kind of command line. Yeah. Especially if you're using a shell that has no auto completion for submodule, is a pain in the ass for sure. Yeah, and then also also merging too, right? A lot of time when you use submodule, oh, interesting. Yeah, huh? Yeah, VS Code Online does not support submodule. I guess that in that case, you probably just want to, I guess can inspecting the framework source code, but not really the submodule source code, I suppose. But yeah. One of the main reason why we use submodule for the Plasmo repo is to, we want to separate the example, but we also want to test the example against the latest version of the Plasmo framework. Yeah, it make development much easier for testing the framework out, testing new version out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And also, it doesn't bloat the amount of Git the git sizing. All right. So now that we have the dev server running, Plasmo 0.59 alpha here .2. So now let's just follow the guy. We have the guy still, the contributing guy, right? So developing with your local version of Plasmo. So one way that npm or Node.js ecosystem has to work with your or to test your binary, right? You can actually use this for any other kind of Node.js workflow too. By the way, is that if you have a local version of the package and you want to link that globally to use it, this is the way to do it. So you cd inside your Plasmo project, right? So here is a cd Plasmo, CLI Plasmo, right? It means that okay, let me use this terminal on top here. I'm in the top terminal. Let me open up. Let me see outside. So right now I'm in the Plasmo root project. I want to cd inside cd. Okay, I want to see Plasmo. So I just cd outside a little bit there. So right now I'm in the Plasmo core kind of organization folder, right? Now let's follow the path that I have here. Let's follow this path, Plasmo CLI Plasmo. So let's do that. So now I'm in the Plasmo CLI internal module. Yeah. It's basically the module that composed of the CLI, just the CLI only. This is so the key important is that when you cat the package.json, right? I don't have head. Do I have head? No, I don't. Alright, never mind.
How are you talking then?
Oh man, I don't think I even have pipe. I don't think I can even pipe. I can pipe. Yeah, I don't know Windows. I know Windows. So that just.
I know Windows stuff. Is this PowerShell?
This is PowerShell. How do I get the first line?
Oh man.
Okay, you don't know Windows.
Get dash content.
Really? Get content?
Yeah, instead of cat. No. Instead of cat, you do get dash content.
Sure. I have cat.
No, because you know.
Okay, then you can do array or something.
Yeah, exactly. Because PowerShell is all structured data.
Can you actually?
So just do that first.
And can you do like dot name? Nah. Okay, I do get package is on. What do I do? Like get property? Yeah, cat is an alias of get content on Windows though, on Windows, right? I mean on Linux.
So
different.
You can do pipe convert from dash JSON.
Convert from JSON.
Yeah.
And then
now you can go into it like dot. You can do dot and you can do all the other stuff.
So
no. Convert from is camel case with the C is also capital and then dash JSON.
Yeah, I don't think we have to worry about that actually. I have seen that a lot of this command is actually case insensitive.
Oh, nice. Yeah, just remove the first dash.
Wait, no, my bad. I'm wrong. I don't know Windows.
Because your screen is lagging for me. Yeah, get rid of the first dash and then get rid of the space in between. Yeah, convert from doesn't have a dash.
Oh, okay.
And then get rid of the space between from and JSON.
Oh, that.
And make it a dash. From dash JSON.
Wait, what? So the convert is a one word?
Convert from is one word and then dash JSON. Yeah,
wow.
there you go.
But I don't know, man, but the guy who did this.
They're geniuses. Honestly, I love
Oh my
PowerShell,
god,
even though I use Mac.
it doesn't work, boss.
Why doesn't it work? Your screen is lagging, that's why I can't see.
So they say the input object cannot be bound to any parameter for the command, either because the command does not take pipeline input.
Okay, I don't know. Yeah.
Anyway, that's okay.
Do you need to wrap it in parentheses and then dot name?
You sure about that? Like this?
Maybe.
Oh, okay. It worked. You're right. Yeah.
Nice.
Okay. But whoever came up with this name is I don't know, man. But yeah, either he is not from Microsoft. Yeah. Yep. I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
Precisely, yeah.
The
Yeah.
names can be better, that's for sure. But the one piece that I really like about not one piece, the thing I really like about PowerShell is like it's all structured data. It's really nice. I wish Unix tools were like that as well.
Oh, interesting. Do you know that the whole Git action builder? Oh, yeah. So one trivia is the action builder for GitHub is made using PowerShell. The entire thing.
Oh wow!
Yeah, crazy, right? I was look at the source and I'm like,
Wait, what's the action builder?
I'm showing you right now. Okay. So we have this action. Yeah. Here we go. Runner. Runner images. Yep, these guys. So this is the runner image repo contain a bunch of GitHub action kind of script to build out the image for the GitHub action runner. So they built out like image for Ubuntu and Mac and Windows, right?
Yeah,
And it's all PowerShell. Crazy, man.
that's crazy. Wow.
Yeah, the
That's
whole thing
awesome.
is PowerShell. I can't believe it when I look at it,
Yeah.
but it is. Yeah, like if you look at anything here, it's literally just the script, everything, PowerShell.
Wow.
Yes, M1. Yeah, it's crazy. I don't know how. How,
Yeah.
it's something that I constantly ask when I read it. I guess it's very functional. It's quite functional here. We look at it. It's quite functional. Yeah. So I wonder,
Yeah. Go ahead.
is there a code editor for this?
I just used Notepad++ back like 2 years ago when I was doing a lot of PowerShell.
Uh-huh. By the way, they look
A lot
up,
of yeah. Go ahead.
look at this. They look up parser.
Oh wow.
Yeah, you were saying?
Yeah. They have an open source version of PowerShell as well. I think that it's using a different version of PowerShell though. I don't remember the exact details, but there was something about that. I think PowerShell 7, it's really advanced and it's all like cross-platform and stuff, and it's really, really cool. There is, I believe, a version of PowerShell called, yeah, because one of the things that you can do, so just on trivia, I'm going to have the trivia as well. So PowerShell is really powerful, like to do like malicious things with. And one thing that you can do is like certain PowerShell versions that are like more modern, they have tools built, they have like things built into PowerShell where it checks whether you're doing something that's potentially malicious. But, it's really funny because you can actually spawn an older version of PowerShell within those newer versions and then run the malicious things on the older versions, and they won't get caught because there isn't a system on the older versions that detects anything that's malicious. So that's pretty funny. But yeah, PowerShell is really, really advanced. There's entire like attack, um, basically entire like malware frameworks written in PowerShell, and you can do everything you would ever want just within PowerShell. And what this enables is there are no files dropped, and there's no way an antivirus can scan your disk to see if there's any malware because it's all running within in memory in PowerShell, and you don't need to have any sort of interpreter or have any sort of binary because everything is within PowerShell. And that's why I know a lot about PowerShell, because of all this stuff. It's used so widely in with malware.
Interesting. Apparently, also you can use typing in PowerShell too, huh?
Yeah.
Oh lord. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe we should rewrite Plasmo in PowerShell.
Yeah, might as well, right? Oh lord. Yeah.
Cool. All right. Shall we go
Right.
out of this rabbit hole?
Yeah, too much trivia, right? All right. So once you're inside the Plasmo CLI project, right, and make sure that you can. So when you do get content package JSON, make sure it's say Plasmo. The name should be Plasmo, right? The name inside package JSON should be Plasmo. Now you can do pm link global. So when you do pm link global, what this do, it will link this Plasmo CLI version into the global registry of PNPM. And what that mean is that now I can run Plasmo-v, for example. It should tell me 0.0059, right? Yeah, yep, 0.59.0 alpha 2. So let's say I change it to alpha 3, right? It should reflect immediately. So let's change to alpha 3. And I'll go back to here because the build finish, it changed. I will do Plasmo v again. It should say alpha-3 or alpha .3. Wait, what? Come on, man. So annoying. Why is that? Yeah, like one of the most annoying thing is when you say you're gonna do something and you do something completely not what you want it to do. I guess when you
So can you do which Plasmo here?
I guess when you change the package JSON, it doesn't. Oh yeah, because the package JSON being put in as a environment variable, I guess. So it's not reflected immediately. So I guess that was a bad case for testing again. I guess it should say .3 now. Yeah, it does. Okay, so let's change some runtime code, right? Make it easier. Yeah, I'm promising. So I promised magic, but come on, man. I guess there's no magic, right? It's all at the end of the day, it's all just code. There's no magic. It's all just bit and what? Hey, Stefan, help me out here. At the end of the day.
I don't know what you're saying, man.
Really?
It's all bits at the end of the day.
Alright, so let's say that when I run okay, the easiest one, right? Let's go to the help commands. Wait, what? Wait. I thought, oh yeah, okay. Because I abstract the help. Okay. Yeah, because I add a bunch of stuff to the help function, so I was like, what the hell? Why is it so short? It's because I abstracted I moved the bunch of the help printing into the print help function. That's why. Alright, let's go inside. Alright, yeah, so now we have these thingy. So let's say let's add some here. Let's say hello world here. If I say hello world here, I save it. I go back to here, and I run Plasmo. Let's run Plasmo. If you run Plasmo with nothing, you should run the help function, or the help subcommand, and it should say hello world. Yeah, here we go. Whew. Okay, not too magical, but it does something. So
Awesome.
so with that, when you invoking Plasmo, so Plasmo has now been registered as a global command in PNPM, and then PNPM symlink that into your path. So thanks to that chain event, now you can run Plasmo as a top level command line, the same way you would do with Notepad. And then with the dev server running, whatever you change in the Plasmo repo should be reflected with the CLI. Yeah. Okay. So caveat. So there are some caveat here. The one caveat is that if you want to make changes to some of the resolver, so parser resolver, runtime, config, for example, right? If you want to change them and see the result, there are two ways to go about it. The first is simply stop the dev server for Plasmo. You simply stop the dev server and rerun it. When you rerun the dev server, the turbo repo would look up for any dependency that has been changed, and it will recompile. Okay. Now, the second way is you can actually go inside that package. So let's say I have, okay, let's say I want to work on parcel. Which one? Okay, runtime. Let's go. I want to work on the runtime. So I go inside runtime, and now I want to use I want to have like real-time dev with the runtime, right? What do? You simply go inside that package and do pm dev, and that's pretty much it. It will swap out. It will now run the watch command for this specific package, and now every time you change something for the package, it will trigger the plugin. It will trigger the watch. So, for example, let's show the example inside the runtime. So in the runtime, we actually show a log at the beginning of, I think at the beginning of every time the runtime is injected. So let's go inside runtime, paste runtime, right? To the most obvious. So inject HMI socket, right? Oh yeah, never mind. This is verbose logging. Let me go inside the inject socket and work with it. So okay, here we have the oh no, not the warning log. Wait. We have a log that tell you that the socket has been injected. Oh, socket listening successful. It's inside on open. Here we go. Connected to HMI server, right? Okay, so let's say that. So now, okay, so let's just show how that look like. Let me run the dev server for one of the. Yeah, I'm already in with content script. Yeah, he's the right one. So cautions, right? If I do pm dev, right? If I do pm dev, it will still run okay. Not a good indication, because the package.json inside the example of the sub module is pointing to the workspace version. Well, actually, it's pointing to alpha 1. Okay, never mind. It doesn't matter then. Alright, so when I run pm dev, it actually used the previous version, the version currently specified. Oh no, I forgot to publish this package. Okay, yeah, I need to publish all these packages. Yeah, because of the workspace versioning, which is kind of weird, but okay. Let me just use the RFC maybe. Okay, so if I do pm dev in here, the version should be whatever version is inside this package.json right now, which is 757.2. Alright. And yeah. Oh lord. I think we're running a lot of stuff right now. Or something. Okay, it's done in 15 seconds. Which is crazy. But alright. We'll take that. Okay. But now, if I do Plasmo dev, if we do Plasmo dev now, it should run the version that we are deving right now. We are running a dev server on. Yep, it's a Plasmo station hello world v0.59.alpha.1. It's say alpha.1 because I just changed it back to .1. And wait, what? Did I mess it up? Oh lord. Wait, how? It's in here. Wait, what? Some technical difficulty here. Not sure why. But let me do a PMI here. Why is that? What the hell? What's going on? Is likely it might be because of me changing the version of the Plasmo CLI, which now bite me in the ass. Let me try again. Because when
if it doesn't work, it's all good. We can. I think people get kind of like the gist of it, right? And then we can kind of like wrap up.
Yeah, we've been going for a while now.
Yeah, we still have to get to the tools. I'll stream those to give you a little break.
Oh, it worked. Okay, here we go. Yeah, that's probably I messed up the versioning. That's why. But yeah, so the star has to align. So make sure the star align for this to work.
Yeah.
Basically, the version has to align for it to know the dependency to work. And so your extension will repackage and stuff like that. So we change the name to repackage. Alright, anyway. So now that you have the runtime, what happened here is if we go to the Chrome, if I open Chrome, and disable that and enable. Actually, I did add it. Things in example with constructor. Here we go. Oh, because it didn't work. Yeah, we're using the RFC in inline CSUI. We got inside Plasmo test. Alright, here we go. Alright, I got it. It's inside, it's running. Yep. So let's take a look at the Oh my god, I picked the worst one. I picked the worst one to demonstrate. Oh, actually, no, never mind. Yeah. So, okay. Let's look at the service worker, right? If you look at the service worker of that script, you see that there is this line here, connect to HTML server for the background script, right? So now, if I want to, let's say that I change the message a little bit and say hello world. I really need to find a better thing to say than hello world, huh?
Yeah.
Okay. Now the trick here is that the runtime has changed, but not the extension itself. The extension was started by the previous CLI version without the new runtime. So you still have to stop the Plasmo dev server and rerun it again. And this will pick up the new change, the new runtime.
Let's see. Three hours later.
I know, right?
An eternity.
Yeah,
later.
I think we kind of want to incorporate the WebEx kind of.
Wait, can we see the hello world?
Yeah.
Oh man, that's the most exciting part.
Yeah, here we go. Hello world. Yeah. So here we go. That's how you add some changes to the runtime, and so on and so forth.
Amazing! Look at that. Look at that beautiful hello world.
I know, right? So nice. All right. So that kind of concludes the demonstration of how to, play around exploring, debugging the Plasmo CLI, the Plasmo framework. One other thing you should do is when you're debugging, you can also use the verbose flag, Plasmo dev /verbose. So both build and any subcommand actually accept the verbose flag, and it will print a bunch more. It will print a bunch of verbose statement for you to debug based on. So highly recommend using that. The verbose flag also toggles some of the logging inside the runtime as well. So you should use that to your advantage. On runtime, you will also see some of the log statement as well. That is enabled by the verbose logging. Yeah.
Nice. All right. Well, we started from just showing you how to do a very simple one-line change, two-line change, very simple change in GitHub, all the way to compiling your own parcel packages and compiling Plasmo, symlinking it, and everything else that you need to do in order to have an incredible developer experience. You're welcome. Thanks for tuning in. And yeah, awesome job demoing that, Lewis.
Thank you.
So now, can I share my screen and then you can add me as
Yep.
awesome. All right, I'm sharing my screen now.
All right. Let me duplicate this. All right. Okay, okay. We might, let's take a small little break, I guess. But then let me copy the solo link and add the screen share. Browser source. Stefan. This is Stefan screen share. Alright. Here we go. Got that. What's the resolution of the screen again?
Are you asking me?
Yes. I'm actually not sure the
Well,
resolution.
I'm only sharing my window,
Oh, okay.
so I don't know what the window would be.
Nice, but you can kind of see it. So I would do 1280 and 640, something like that, and then we will adjust as needed. Alright, here we go.
All right, let me know when people
It's
can
done.
see it.
Yeah, I think we can see it now.
Cool. So I can get started.
Let me. Should I change it a little bit, or should I?
If you could make it a little bit bigger.
Yeah, a little bit wider. One sec. Let's do 800. How about that?
Okay, so I'll get started then.
Sounds good. All right.
Okay, so we've been talking about how to. Sorry, let me do not disturb or whatever. Can you remove me from the scene real quick?
Okay.
I got it here. All right, cool. So we've been talking a lot about how to better develop a browser extension. So we have tools like Plasmo Framework that makes it super easy for you to get started, either transferring, one of the things we've heard a lot is like people are creating extensions from scratch with Plasmo. It's super cool with the framework. And then others are taking their previously built extensions, either with no UI framework, or maybe they're using some sort of template. Maybe they built their own Webpack config, yes build, so on and so forth, different plugins there, and they migrated over to Plasmo. But one of the things we want to do now is we want to think about other things as well. It's not just how do I develop a browser extension, how do I inject into the web page. These are really important things, and the framework addresses those. But the other things I want to think about as well is not only how do I develop, but also the things around development. So let me show you guys kind of what we're thinking about there. So I am a developer and I have an extension on Mv2. How can I convert it to Mv3? This is a common thing we've heard so much from different developers saying, this is so painful because it's a lossy conversion. This architecture for Manifest version 2 is so much more different than Mv3. Things like Redux just don't work out of the box like they used to. You need to do a bunch of stuff to fix that up. Evals don't work anymore. There's all these different keys in the manifest that you need to be aware of. What does the key look like now in Mv3 land versus Mv2? And generally, the biggest thing we've heard is it's fuzzy. And what do I mean by that? It means that you know that you need to do stuff to go to Mv3, and you know that maybe there's this architecture change. Maybe you heard like there's these service workers now instead of a persistent background page. But there are also so many other things that you might not know about. So you can spend a bunch of time looking through documentation, seeing what the Google Chrome team and the other browsers have kind of put out, which is great, and you can kind of figure it out from there. Or you can use this tool that we built called Manifest Transition Checklist. And how it works is you put your manifest in here, so you copy and paste it, your manifest JSON, and then we parse your manifest and we find issues with it. So in this case, with this default manifest that we have here, it looks like it's using the unified. It looks like you need to make it a unified action API rather than using browser action. So here, browser action is an Mv2 only feature, and we see right away that that's something that you need to change. The other thing here is you have a bunch of background scripts. So it says, you can't use that anymore. You must use a background service worker. Host permissions need to be separated, and file URL permission nodes. Here's some of the information there that people have to opt in. And we have a lot of these. So paste your manifest in here and see all of the different issues and make it a lot less fuzzy. That's the core problem that we're looking to solve here. Now, the thing about it is, if you want to take it one step further and you want to actually, so there's kind of 3 levels to it, right? One of them is reading the documentation on Google Chrome, figuring out how to do everything and figuring out what issues you have. The second level is to actually automatically figure out what issues you have and manually solve them. And the third level is much more powerful, which is to auto-fix them. And this is where we have our browser extension platform come in. So our browser extension platform, it actually applies these changes for you automatically in your manifest file, so that, let's say you're using background scripts, it'll automatically convert these to background service workers and then point to the right files. Now you'll have to change the files yourself. Let's say you're doing something that's persistent. You'll have to change the persistence yourself, but the idea is at least your manifest will look like an Mv3 manifest, and then you just need to make the changes that you need to make. So that's the idea there with the config converter. And then finally, with the Plasmo platform, we've also provide a bundle code scanner. So the idea here is it'll scan your entire extension, not just your manifest, to look for issues. So if you're using evals, it'll actually highlight those evals and tell you where you're going wrong. Louis, do you think we should show a demo of that?
Yeah, why not?
Let's do it. So here, I'm going to the Itero platform.
You can actually you can click the sign in to Itero on that page.
Right here, right?
Yeah.
Sign up for Itero.
Yeah, you click that. I think you should go right to Itero.
So here I have some extensions already there. So one of them is Honey. So Honey is the Mv2 extension. So if I look at this here, I have a button migrate to Mv3. So let's click that. So Plasmo is going to go ahead and look at all the different things in the manifest. So these might look familiar to you because they are the same ones as what we had in the checklist. So let me just go back to the checklist real quick. So Unified Action API. So we have this in Itero as well. The cool thing is you can actually download the new manifest and see that all these things got automatically fixed. And the other thing that's really powerful is this code scanning feature. So this scans through Honey's code. So I uploaded Honey, you can upload your own extension. And it'll highlight and even tell you at what line and what column number you're breaking the manifest version 3 rules. So here we're using new function. Honey is using new function. New function isn't allowed because it is actually dynamically dynamically running code, and dynamically running code in Manifest version 3 isn't allowed. So that's one example. And then they're using eval as well. That's also another case where you're not allowed to do that. So those are the two things that Honey needs to fix. And that's the idea behind this whole thing. So if you want to convert from Mv2 to Mv3, you can use Plasmo, this free tool here, which is really awesome, and it can help you out a lot. But then also, if you're kind of like really busy, or you have a lot of stuff in your code, and you want to be even more, you want to be even less fuzzy about what to change, you can sign up for our Itero platform. One of the features is this Mv2 to Mv3 transition. We also have like better beta testing and stuff like that, but we'll talk about that another time. And the other tool that we have, which is really awesome, it's another free tool, is this CRX key generator. So one of the big issues that we faced when we were building an extension was if we're using something like OAuth, we want to have a callback URL, but because a Chrome extension doesn't have a reliable like ID, like CRX ID, it's hard to do that. So you have to generate your own, but that requires you to copy and paste these magical incantations into your command line that do weird stuff like run some OpenSSL commands and all this other stuff. And we just felt like, I don't know, it didn't seem like something that it didn't make sense that people had to do this. And it made sense if it was just a very simple thing on a website. So you can go to this website, literally click generate key pairs, and you're good to go. Now you can put this string here into your manifest JSON under the key field, and you will always have the same CRX ID forever. So you can save this private key as well for the future. But that's all you got to do. It's super simple. So that's like really powerful, and this is another free tool that you can check out. And finally, Plasmo HQ storage. So we were really surprised by this, but one of the things we were thinking this would be kind of like a fun thing to build, but we didn't realize how influential it would be for a lot of our developers. So many of our developers have reached out to us to say that this is one of the best features that we have on the Plasmo framework, which was kind of surprising to me at least. So I prefer some of the other features over this one, but this one's like pretty awesome too. But yeah, like this is definitely the most popular feature we have, and it's called Plasmo HQ Storage. So the idea behind it is, with a lot of Chrome extensions, you want to store things in either Chrome storage or local storage, but a lot of times the existing API is a little bit too low level. So we built this abstraction on storage that makes things a lot easier. So if you want to store things, so I would say the biggest abstraction that we provide is when you store things into storage, we actually automatically dump it as JSON to storage. So when you retrieve it, you'll retrieve back a JSON object. And this one key abstraction, one of the developers we talked to, Martin, he said that is the key reason why he loves this storage library so much. Because of that one single abstraction, you're not just storing random data, you're storing structured data. And it's similar to our previous conversation with PowerShell, right? Structured data is much more powerful than unstructured data. And on top of this abstraction, if you're using a UI library like React, we actually provide a use storage hook. So you can easily integrate this storage library into your React application with a use storage hook. The cool thing though is it's not dependent on React, and you don't actually have to use React. But if you do, we offer another nice abstraction there. So yeah, I think those were the big three tools. If you have some requests for tools, if you've been doing stuff and it's been really annoying and you want us to build a quick tool, or maybe not even a quick tool, but maybe a tool that takes a while but is very valuable, let us know. We love to help. One of the things we do with these is every single tool we make solves a particular pain point that we've heard time and time again from a lot of different developers. So if you also have a pain point and you want us to build a tool, hit us up. We're on Discord and we're very active there. But that's basically it.
Nice, nice. Oh, demo. Oh, and front page
Thanks.
V2. We have a V2 of the front page.
We do, yeah. So we've revised the landing page significantly. We've revised both the text as well as the design. So now you should see that it's a lot different than what it was in the past. Over here we have our tools. These are all the things I discussed. We have an example of the framework and how it works. And we have Itero, which is our staging environment, browser extension platform. So you can easily beta test, easily iterate with your testers, and have a really nice experience to ship your extension faster. We have BPP here, easily publish to all the major web stores. We have some kind of testimonials from our community members, GitHub, Discord, Twitter, pricing for our platform, and yeah, that's it.
Awesome demo.
Awesome. Cool. That's it for me.
Sounds good. I think we cover almost everything. It's a long stream today, huh?
Yeah. It really is, yeah. Well, we did promise people that it will be an exciting stream next week, so got what you came for.
I guess so. Yeah. I guess in part we are rambling a little bit on PowerShell and whatnot, and also thanks to my laptop being quite slow. But hey, we got it. We got.
I think we got everything we wanted to say and more.
Yeah.
We can put it that way.
Oh, and you know what? Like, thanks, AV, man. AV, you watching us through staying for the whole journey, man. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, definitely. No, it's really great, and thanks for the support.
Yeah.
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, to everyone that tuned in, especially Avi, thanks so much for tuning in, and we'll see you next week. It's going to be on Wednesday next week. Every week now on Wednesdays. It's no longer on Mondays. Just a heads up, and it will be at 7 p.m. UK time,
Mm-hmm.
which is what, like 2 p.m. Eastern.
Yeah, 2 p.m. Eastern.
2 p.m. Eastern. So stay tuned.
All right,
Cool.
then.
All right. Take care, folks.
Take care, folks. Bye bye.
Bye bye.